What's happening, everybody? Kyle from VR Scout here, and today we are back talking about Population 1. Big Box VR's vertigo-inducing VR Battle Royale experience is now available on SteamVR and Oculus headsets, and so far players are absolutely loving the game's fast-paced gunplay and climbable environments. Despite having been out in the wild for over a week now, I still see many players making the same mistakes when it comes to climbing, gliding, fighting, defibrillators, and various other aspects of the game. We've been spending an unhealthy amount of time with the game as of late, so we figure why not share our knowledge with you fine internet people. So, without further ado, here are 5 tips and tricks for dominating Population 1. Tip number 1, learn to climb effectively. I'll be frank, most of you are climbing wrong. Population 1 revolves heavily around a robust climbing mechanic that allows you to scale any and every object, building, and structure on the map. Most players will employ this sort of baby climb, which takes forever and leaves you exposed to gunfire. Instead, try grabbing onto an object with one hand and throwing yourself upward. Time this well enough and you'll actually double your climbing speed, allowing you to seize the high ground quickly during gunfights and raise hell down upon your foes. Remember, big monkey climbs. Tip number 2, there's no such thing as too much gliding. In addition to climbing, Population 1 allows you to glide around the map like a majestic but deadly flying squirrel. To activate your wingsuit, you simply extend your arms into a T-pose position while leaping from any elevated position. And when I say any elevated position, I mean any elevated position. Buildings, containers, pipes, cliffs. If it's above ground level, you can glide. This can be a great alternative to walking, which is a considerably slower mode of transportation compared to gliding. So don't be afraid to glide, glide, glide. Tip number 3, practice with the defibrillator. Population 1 allows you to revive fallen teammates mid-game by shocking them back to life with a defibrillator. Most players I've seen tend to, how do I put this? Overdo it with the life-saving device. Instead of destroying your upper body with violent shakes, try performing small, steady circles like you would in real life. Not only will this cut the charge time in half, but you won't look quite as ridiculous in a gunfight. Tip number 4, and one of the most important on the list in terms of combat, lead your shots. Shoot where your opponent will be, not where they are. 98% of the opponents you face in Population 1 will be on the move, which means constant moving targets. Whenever you find yourself more than a dozen feet away from enemies, shoot slightly ahead of your target towards the direction in which they're moving. This will result in significantly more damage to opponents. The further you are, the more you'll need to compensate for the distance. Practice makes perfect when it comes to this tip. It should be noted, however, that we've been playing on the Oculus platform and not SteamVR, so results may vary. And tip number 5, don't ignore the daily challenges. While it's true you could rank up by simply playing the game, completing the rotating daily challenges earns you an enormous amount of XP, unlocking new weapon skins and unique avatars in the process. Oftentimes, these challenges can be done with relative ease. Sometimes this means breaking a certain number of windows, other times it could involve dealing a set amount of damage with a certain weapon. And there you have it. Just a few helpful tips that'll have you gliding circles around your opponents. Just remember, when it comes to Population 1, never give up the high ground. Population 1 is available now on SteamVR, Oculus Rift, and Oculus Quest headsets for $29.99.